Hi guys, I'm back today with a video on a collection that I was really happy to get my hands on, and the collection that I'm speaking of, I didn't get all of it because not all of it was like specifically things I felt like I actually had to have, but okay, I didn't actually have to have any of this if we're being real honest, but I really wanted to support this influencer because I truly believe that she is a good person and I just can relate to her on many levels. I feel like all of us knew who I'm probably talking about, and that is Raw Beauty Kristi. She has been on YouTube for a really long time. She is a voice you can trust. She is somebody that I really like watching. And I also have to say, her personal journey is very inspiring to me because I really kind of understand what she's gone through, but in a different way. Kind of. And for me, she's been really open and honest about things that are tough for people to go through, and a lot of us out there, we can relate to her. We've been through some of the things she's been through. We've experienced some of the sadness that she's been through, and we've kind of lived it with her in one way or another, whether watching her or experiencing it in our own lives. And I just think she's a wonderful person. Obviously, I don't know her in real life. I wish I did because she'd be super cool, but I'm really happy for her. I think she deserves everything good in the world, in life, and I am excited that she's finally starting to get it because she deserves it. I am talking about her palette that she just did with Colourpop Cosmetics, and that is at Forest Sight, which is precious. The cover art is so satisfying. Like, this is exactly my kind of thing. I love this. I just think she did a really good job of capturing things that are definitely part of the Pacific Northwest, and she really seems to have a deep appreciation for it, which makes you appreciate it all the more. So I really like that. Cost of the palette was $20. I did get this and not with like the collection. Then I did also get the 3 liners that were part of the collection, and the colors I got were Marigold, Spare Time, play on the word time. I just dropped Marigold. It just went bye-bye. And then Woodsy, which I like all 3 of these colors. So for me, it was like $21 for all 3. Yes, I need them. I've got to have them. I can't wait to try them. And so I did that today. Now, my looks are kind of like all over the place because I literally wanted to try everything that I had in front of me. So I've got like Marigold on my inner eye. I've got Spare Time over here. I got Woodsy over there. I got the palette kind of flowing throughout. But I really wanted to try the majority of it before giving you my opinions, and so that is why I don't have a super cohesive look, and hopefully we can all ignore that. So I really want to swatch this for you guys, and then if you want to see how I got these looks, keep watching after that, and I'll give you my final thoughts on the whole collection at the very end. I'm actually going to start with the liners with the shade Marigold, and it is this beautiful goldenrod yellow shade, which this collection is like really near and dear to my heart because her colors are like my colors. Like, that's my jam. So goldenrod when I was a kid used to be one of my favorite crayons ever, and this is literally that crayon as a liner. The next shade is Spare Time. You may hear my son. He is playing Beyblades in the room next to me, and he is a good time. But this is kind of like a kind of bluish, greenish, grayish shade. It's very pretty. I think the day when I can use it by itself, it's going to be really interesting to have in the waterline. Sorry, my swatch got a little like where because I have like a tendon or something in here. Liners is called Woodsy. And I will say that the tip of this broke off like immediately as soon as I went to use it. So that was a little disheartening, but and I've got to find it on my floor somewhere. But this is a really kind of red tone brown. It's very warm. It's really beautiful on the waterline. I can't wait to use this alone in the waterline either. The first shade in the palette is called Puffball. And this is like a yellowy orange brown shade. Antarell. And this is an orangey yellow. It is similar to Marigold, but Marigold is definitely more yellow. The next shade is Rainier. And this is like a beautiful rust shade. And every time I think of the name Rainier, I think of Twilight. Next shade is Old Growth. And this is a really pretty kind of dusty rose shade. Shade is Evergreen. Okay, now you guys, this shade right here is actually very special. I don't know if you guys have watched my Pat McGrath, it was her Celestial Divinity palette, the one that's like her biggest palette for the least price. It's 78 bucks. There was a shade in there called Dragonfly, and I would love to put these head to head because I think they'd be very similar. The Dragonfly shade is much more diverse and unique and beautiful, but this is definitely like the affordable version of it, if I have to say. So it's green, it's gold, it's brown, it's red. It is very pretty. It is a very shifty shade, and it can go with a lot of different colors. The next shade is West Coast. This is a gorgeous gold shade. It almost reddish gold, and it reminds me a lot of the shade that I actually didn't want to get rid of that e.l.f. quad for inside of the Hot Jalapeno quad of 4. So they're very similar to me. The next shade is Homegrown. And this is a purple, red, brown. Next shade is called Amanita, I think. And it does have an asterisk next to it, so I'm assuming that this is going to be a pigment rather than an eyeshadow. So if you have sensitive eyes, maybe be careful for this. But it is a beautiful kind of berry purple shade called Fiddlehead. And it is a beautiful kind of gray tone green shade. Love it. It definitely makes me think of Fiddlesticks though. The next shade is called Emerald City. And this is the Crayon Teal. The next shade is called PNW, which stands for Pacific Northwest. And this is a really pretty blue shade, but with a hint of green to it. Last shade in the palette is called Let It Rain. Black with reddish gold glitter pieces in it. I was just curious if I blew on it, if they disappear. It kind of doesn't seem like they did. Now, I don't know if you're seeing them in the camera, but in person you definitely can see them. So this is the whole palette. I have my mascaras on, and I have final thoughts for you guys. So let's start with the eyeliners themselves. These colors are gorgeous. I am really excited about them. I think that they worked really nicely. They're definitely in my waterline, though I think you guys might have a hard time kind of seeing it. I did take some pictures, so hopefully that'll show it. I've got Spare Time over here. I've got Marigold in the center of both of my eyes, and then I've got Woodsy on this one. They worked really nicely. They were really smooth. I have sensitive eyes and my eyes didn't water or seem to get irritated. I did also put Spare Time on the top here and Woodsy on the top on this side. The only qualm was that Woodsy broke off like right away. So that was kind of frustrating, but it's fine. All was well. I will move on from that. Now, speaking about the palette, let's just talk about it as their collaboration, and then I'll talk about it in conjunction with some other things that have gone on recently with Colourpop. So this palette in and of itself, gorgeous. Love it. Love the packaging. Love the color story. Love Raw Beauty Kristi. I think that she is fabulous. I think that this was a really nice selection of colors. I really enjoyed it personally, and I think it worked really well. Here is my only thought. I have a couple thoughts. Not my only thought. Here are my thoughts. So I feel like Colourpop, all of their color stories recently have been kind of in the same vein, where you've got like a green color story and then you've got like a purple color story. Now, this does have some variation from that. Now, I will say I was able to pull a green look and a purple look from this. So I don't know if any of this has to do with COVID and the things going on in the world, and maybe they're only able to source certain colors. They were actually talking about some stuff on their Instagram today about what they're able to get and what they're not. And I wonder if that has played into the color stories that they are creating. Maybe it hasn't at all. But I don't know if I'm the only one that has thought a lot of the things that have come out have kind of been similar color stories. But for me, I mean, I was able to get some really cool looks out of it. I'm really happy with it. I don't mind. And I was like, no matter what would have been in here, I would have supported her because I think she's great. But if you don't know who she is and that's not really something that's on your agenda, and you do have a lot of Colourpop palettes, and you're not attracted to the aesthetic or anything like that of this, which I don't know how that's possible, but it is possible, then I would say you probably have some similar color stories if you've bought from them this year. Like Hocus Pocus had like a green and a purple side to it. It had some other stuff too, just like this has some other stuff too. And then some of the shades in the Baby Yoda palette, some of the shades that have been like the Marvelous Mauves. I just feel like there's been a lot of color stories that you could pull from. They just had 2 new palettes that they just released like this week. Also kind of a greenish brownish color story and a purplish color story. So I feel like if you bought any of those and you were on the fence about this, I mean, I would still get this because I think it's pretty great. But I do feel like there's been a lot of repetition in color this year. But I'm okay with that because I like these colors and I didn't get some of the other stuff, so it worked out kind of nicely. The other thing I will note about this is that if you look at just like half of this palette, like let's say this half of this palette, it really reminds me of the Natasha Denona gold palette in a way. It's not exactly the same or anything like that, but I think the looks that you could pull from it would be very, very similar. Like, that's just what I think there. The other thing, this shade right here, which is called Evergreen, reminds me very much of the shade Dragonfly, I think is what it's called, from Pat McGrath. It was very unique, really special, really like, she didn't call it like anything in there, but it was like a multi-chrome kind of shade, and this is too. I mean, not that it's as, not that the quality is as good as a Pat McGrath shadow. It is still, like, if you were looking for an affordable way to get to try a shade that was like that, this is the way to do it. The only thing I could say is that maybe I would have liked to see one more metallic shade in here, but that's just because your girl really likes foiled shades. So, that aside, I really enjoyed it. I think it was really nice. I love this packaging. I'm not going to be decluttering this anytime that I can see because it really has, like, everything that I like. I really like Raw Beauty Kristi. I think that she is very funny, very honest, and like 100% the kind of person I would get along with. She has been through it. I wish that I could get through the things that she's been through and have a smile on my face and go on every day because that takes some real strength. So to her, I wish all the very best. I think she's done a great job. I am so happy for you that you got to have this collaboration. You 1000% deserve it. You are talented and you are not a bullshitter, which I really like. So in any case, if this video was helpful to you guys, make sure you leave a comment down below, like this video, subscribe, and ring the bell for future updates, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.